everyone, welcome back. So many of you have been asking us if we're planting yet, and while I'd like to say yes, we are not planting anything yet. We usually start about mid-February with our onions, but this is the perfect time of year to go through what seeds we have and decide what we've got enough of and what we're going to need more of, and frankly decide what we get to plant. So I shared with you guys a while back that we got seeds from Survival Garden Seeds this year, both the Homesteader pack and the Home Garden pack, and we're going to be planting a lot of seeds from there this year. I also have 2 containers filled with seeds, and so today I'm just deciding what I've got, what I'm going to plant, and what holes I need to fill in and seeds to purchase. If you aren't using one yet, I recommend getting yourself a good garden journal or a calendar or even just a notebook where you're keeping track of what you're planting, when, and how much. So year to year you can keep with what worked and change things that didn't. Last year I shared with you the Excel spreadsheet I use to make sure that I get things planted. So I will be sure to link this in the description, and you can go ahead and print it out for yourself, make changes to it that are going to make sense for you because everybody's season is a little bit different. So in here I have things when to put them in my greenhouse or when to plant them direct in the ground and things like that. Because I know my season starts mid-February with onions, the first thing I'm going to be looking for is onion seeds. Now I've got my Excel spreadsheet, I've got my calendar here, my garden calendar, so I can check how many onions I planted last year. Okay, you guys, I actually started with my celery last year. Only by a couple days, but I started celery last year, which is hard to remember because I ended up losing all my celery. My fault, no one else's. I started 50 celery seeds, 25 of the Tango and 25 of the tall Utah. So I'm so excited to get these Survival Garden seeds in the ground, but I want to use my older seeds first so that I'm always kind of moving them through, just like you would eat the older food first before you would do newer. So 20 or 50 celery seeds. Now I think that would have been a great amount if I kept it. This year I plan on planting them a little bit closer together. Mine were quite spread out, which meant they took up quite a bit of the garden, and I realized quite quickly that I could certainly space these much closer together than I did. I also had a family member, my sister-in-law, showed me how she had her celery planted almost in just a group, and hers was growing really, really well. You know, there wasn't a huge difference between how hers grew and how mine grew. So, all right, celery has its own spot here. I still have some of that tall Utah celery from Seed Savers. This is a few years old, but this all did well, came back up last year, so I'm not concerned with it. Now, if it had poor germination rate last year, I would probably, maybe not get rid of the seeds, but I would probably throw them in to do like a quick microgreen with, rather than wasting them. Because in that sense, either they come up or they don't. All right, so I also had, the Tango More Than Enough from Johnny's Seeds. Oh yeah, we've got more than enough. So, no need to do any different things to my celery. And since that worked well with the exception of me not taking care of it and leaving it in the fridge, not caring for it too long, oh well. All right, so I'm just jotting some quick notes so I know I've got what I need. 25 Tango, 25 Utah. Next thing I planted was my onions. Now this one I know I don't have enough from last year. In 2022, I started on February 24th, so a little bit late, 2 trays of onions. 1 tray was Patterson and 1 was just miscellaneous onion. I estimated that I had about 1,000 seeds. So I did not save a ton of onion seeds this year, or last year. I found these, I think, in a cupboard. So these are from 2016. Not super gonna count on those. Let's see, we've got, oh, these are my leeks. We'll get to those too. And chives. So basically no onions in here. I've got some of my bigger saved seeds in here. I know onion seeds are small, but the bags tend to be a little bit bigger, so they might be in here. Lots of flowers and microgreens. Should fight the itch and grow those now, right? All right, so let's go through what we've got in these seed packets for onions. There's some more celery, same variety I'm growing, just newer seed. I think as long as I have these dumped out, I might as well sort them a little bit and put them in the containers. All right, lots of greens in there. Oh, there's a few more. And that was the Homesteader pack I'm sorting through. I also have the Home Gardener pack, and then they do make a farm pack that has even more seeds. If you want a coupon for these, I have it in the description below. It's 10% off your order. I found some leeks, I found some garlic chives, but for onions, I found these Walla Walla onions, which is not what I have planted. Let's open that back up. Let's see, I started, what did I say? Patterson and miscellaneous. I can't remember what onions I planted before that. All right, and then these ones say white grano. Just looking at the picture, they look pretty small. A mild white onion, average 3 inches in diameter. All right, so I just quickly dumped the Walla Walla onions in my hand to give you an idea of how many are in a seed packet. And I'm gonna count these just roughly real quick to get an idea. I'm guessing about 50 to 100. All right, I'm about halfway and I'm at 50. So I'm guessing about 100 onion seeds. They're pretty small. I'm guessing these other packets don't have quite as many. I couldn't find on the packets how many seeds are per packet. That was the only thing I noticed about survival garden seeds. So I'm guessing I have about 200 seeds here. And what did we say? I planted about 1,000 last year was my estimate. 750 to 1,000. All right, so I need more. So let's check the Homesteader pack. I'm sorry, let's check the Home Garden pack. Now I did save onion seed, and I think it's in the basement, but I did not have great luck saving it this year. And last year I had very good luck saving it. So it is what it is. Sometimes it works out better than others. I guess onions are quite particular, so I definitely need to get onion seeds, so we're gonna add that. We figure about 200, so onion, even if I have some in the basement, I would like to get at least 800 seeds. All right, the next thing I planted was 50 broccoli plants, 50 cauliflower plants, 50 cabbage, 50 iceberg heads of lettuce, and 36 leeks. The iceberg heads of lettuce were definitely not a necessity. I know some of that went to the chickens, and it got kind of hot out when I did it. Leeks I absolutely loved, and I will do those again. So let's see what we have left from last year. Those are going to be my onions as well. So it said I planted 36, and it says there's 250 seeds in here. And it was the first time I planted them last year. So we should be good. These are from Johnny's Seeds. This was King Richard. I also have some leeks here from Survival Garden Seeds American Flag. So I'll put those in here too. Again, some of these seeds I've had for a while. So I have some varieties I just got for Survival Garden Seeds, this Waltham 29, and I already have it from My Gardener, and I've never planted it because I wrote on it that this would be better for fall broccoli, which I just have not made happen. I have some saved broccoli seeds here, 50 seeds. I think I will have more than enough, and this is Calabrese, and that is the same from seed. That is the same seed from Survival Garden Seeds. So we should be good on broccoli. Yay! Now, my cauliflower did not do great last year, so I kind of want to take a look at that. I started it in mid-March, and it just really didn't flower. It was kind of strange. The plants did great, but it didn't really flower very much. Mid-March, doesn't say what variety I planted, but I can kind of see what I've got and usually figure it out. So let's see, broccoli. This one open. Oh, looks like it may have been. I did save some seed. Early snow cauliflower. All right. I also have, this was from Seed Savers. I also have some white cauliflower. So I'll probably try some of this year. And I'm just going to write that down. We're good. We have enough. I also have some more saved cauliflower seed in here too, which is from the year before. Now, one thing that did just amazingly well in my garden last year was my cabbage. I had my cabbage planted quite early, mid-March, and that's when I started the seed, and it did so well. I ended up with so much sauerkraut. We still have a ton of it. I can't imagine we'll be through it all before it's cabbage season again. And we ended up with a ton of cabbage in our freezer that we still have a lot of. So I really want to stick to that variety. And it's one of those things where I probably wouldn't have to devote a lot of room and things to the cabbage because it did so well. It could probably get me by a little bit longer. But I just want to make sure that I am planting that cabbage again. So I planted from Seed Savers Exchange early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. And I want to make sure I do that again. I planted 50 seeds and I do not probably have 50 seeds in here. So I'll probably do another variety. From Survival Garden Seeds, I got Early Round Dutch. So just the early word is probably going to be a good one for me. This one says, this one's a little bit faster to germinate. I also do have cabbage in here that I haven't planted. Copenhagen Market. And this is a hybrid storage variety. And my intention was to plant these closer to fall and then store heads of cabbage. I might still do that this year, but if I have room to start early in my garden with cabbage, I will do these. What I did last year is after I harvested the cabbage, I planted beans in their place, and that worked out really well. I did get, for sure, a couple pickings off those beans. I think only one planting of beans there, though. Okay, so we need to make sure Early Jersey Wakefield. So last year I started hot peppers. I planted 5 Tabasco, 5 cayenne, 10 peppercini, and 10 jalapeno. Now I haven't actually tried those canned pepperoncinis yet, so how much of that I plant will definitely depend on what we think of those. So might have to take out some beef and make something with them soon. And then I planted 20 jalapenos. What I did with my jalapenos and jalapenos is they're just intermixed, and I made poppers with them. So sometimes you get a hot one, sometimes you don't. And I really liked how many I had as far as the jalapenos and jalapenos went. All right, I kind of have, like, these are saved seeds that are more emergency, might have crossed. So when it comes to peppers, I plant hot peppers in my garden, and I plant bell and sweet peppers, and so I'll use those if I have to. For some reason I couldn't get seed, but I'm not planning on using them. All right, so I've got the Tabasco peppers. I'll probably plant those again. Cayenne, I still have dried cayenne from, like, I'd have to check, but it might be 2019. It's quite old. Like, we still use it often. We just had so much of it one year. I have jalapenos, so I said I planted 20 plants of those. Oh, I definitely have at least that. And then I have jalapenos. I planted 10. I definitely have at least that. And the Italian pepperoni. I definitely have enough to plant the same things again, which is awesome. But then, of course, with my survival garden seeds, I've got some new ones. I've got more cayenne and more jalapeno. So we'll sneak those in the back. And then as long as I'm looking at peppers, I might as well look at my bells. Last year I started, I think I wrote this down wrong. I wrote down that I started 121 King of the North bell peppers. I'm guessing I used every last seed I had. That is crazy. Now, I love the King of the North peppers, so I'm guessing, because I don't see any in here, I don't have any left. So I've got some California Wonders, which I've planted before, and some Chocolate Beauties, which I haven't done before. But I'm going to make sure I get King of the North because they do really well. So let's see, I planted 121. So I think what I'm going to do is plant both of these, the California and the Chocolate Beauty, which is probably going to be like 50 total. And then let's get like 100 of those. And then I should be good on peppers. Oh my. Last year I planted almost 30 kohlrabi. And kohlrabi is one of those things, I really don't care for it in any form, but some of my family members really like it. But we can only eat so much of it. So I know I have kohlrabi. I know I have new kohlrabi seed. And the plan will be to plant, I'm guessing that's with my radishes. The plan will be to plant a few of those, but just kind of wherever I can stick them. I'm not going to set aside a place for my kohlrabi anymore. I have so many seeds in here of this. Yeah, I've got, I think it's purple Vienna. Maybe this is white Vienna. And then I have purple Vienna, yep. And both fine, just not my favorite things, but my family members who enjoy them would like me to plant some. But I'm really bad about staggering the planting too, so they're not all ready at the same time. So something I will probably plant, but not a ton of. Next on my list is tomatoes. Now I plant so many tomatoes, and I know it sounds outrageous, but we are ever working to be able to grow more, make more, and tomatoes are just a huge staple. I end up making a lot of pizza sauce, enough to cover at least pizza once a week. That ends up being my pasta sauce as well. And then we'll do some whole tomatoes, not very many. Usually I'll end up throwing those in the freezer. And I will make tomato soup and, a lot of salsa, of course. I'm sure we will run out of salsa this year before we are canning salsa, but usually we can just about stretch it to fresh salsa season, so that's okay. So last year I planted 100 of the Italian heirloom tomatoes. They are just my absolute favorite. I don't know why I like them so much. They're just pretty, I guess, and big, and I don't know, I really like them. They look like a big, beautiful heirloom, but without all the ickiness of it. So I'm flipping through here and I have so many tomatoes, but I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any. Oh my goodness. Couldn't have saved one, Sarah? Apparently not. Alright, so let's see what I planted last year, and at least if I have enough tomatoes to plant. I planted 100 tomatoes total. 50 of them were Italian heirloom, 10 cherry tomatoes, and 5 of each of Wisconsin Chief, Trip L Crop, and San Marzano. I wish I had planted them sooner, I wrote, and I started about mid-April. Okay, so let's see what we've got. 5 Wisconsin Chief, Trip L Crop, San Marzano. All right, and then I know I did get some from my brother and sister-in-law that were Romas. So I've got Wisconsin Chief, I can do that again. San Marzano, I've got, did I plant Amish paste? I think I planted some of these and I just don't have them written down yet. Maybe I started them later. I've got Amish paste I'll probably do. I did this alpaca tomato because I got the seeds from Thomas Natural Roots when I was ordering my Italian heirlooms, and I really liked these. So that was a pleasant surprise. So I'll probably do more of those. I did in our greenhouse plant 5 giant crimson seeds that I got from M.I. Gardner. So I did save seed from that since it was the only tomato in our greenhouse. And I'll probably do that again in the greenhouse just to kind of keep that in rotation, as these seeds were a little bit more expensive. The Granny Cantrell is our Cherokee Purple. Oh, here we go. We still have a little teeny bit of Italian heirloom. Enough for me to get my fix. We'll see. Guess how many seeds do you think I saved? Maybe 4 or 5. I might just, with how many tomatoes I have, I might just go ahead and only do that many this year and do other things. Martino's Roma, these were just not my favorite. We planted these a few years back. So more San Marzano, more Granny Cantrell. And then I've got a few tomatoes here from Survival Garden Seeds. This one I'm excited about, an heirloom rainbow mix. I'm definitely going to plant that. Romas, which I said I did end up using last year because we got the leftover Romas from my brother and sister-in-law. Some red brandy wine, which might be kind of fun, like the Italian heirlooms I like. And then large red cherry. So last year I did was a yellow cherry. You guys probably remember. I don't remember the name of it. I should. And we liked it, and it was fun, and it was a different color. But since I have these cherry tomatoes, I'll probably just plant these. And we're going to call tomatoes good because I know I have at least 100 plants. I know I probably ended up with another 50 plants. It was ridiculous. So like 150 tomato plants. We're just going to write tomatoes, 150. We're good. Other greens I enjoy having planted are kale, especially when it's nice and cool. So this, oh, that's finished. This red Russian kale is what I have been planting. And it looks like this says garden blend of kale and then lacinato. So we should be good with kale. I feel like I should put these in the front. So many greens, guys. All right, and then the other green I want to make sure I have in here is spinach. So Norfolk spinach is just my absolute favorite, but I also do usually plant baby greens type spinach. So I've got those. Those are the main ones. I've got more saved Norfolk spinach from 2 years ago, more saved from last year. And then it looks like here's some new varieties I have. So Vero Fly, looks kind of like a baby spinach. Bloomsdale, that looks more rusticy, kind of like the Norfolk. All right, good on spinach. I'm checking over my list from last year to make sure I have all the herbs I need. This is something that I'm really good about messing up. So it's so easy to just forget one herb, especially when you're not always using them fresh. A lot of them I'll save for later. So oregano is one I want to make sure I have. Now some of these I do have some bucket plant pots. I was gonna call them tubs and buckets, pots in the greenhouse of them planted. So there is that. All right, I do have some oregano. I did do Italian. I wrote right on here last time, but I have some if I need to use it. Even though it's not the variety I prefer. All right, which is good because there's none in here. And then what else do I want to do? Rosemary, sage. I didn't see sage anywhere, which my plant's still doing well, so we'll see. Okay, and I don't see rosemary either, so let's write these down. Also both doing well. We need to make sure we have a lot of basil. Let's see what we've got. Italian large leaf basil, dwarf Greek basil, which I wrote right on it. I don't like this. I kept it because, hey, it can always be animal food. I can always throw it somewhere. Better than nothing sometimes. All right, we've also got large leaf basil and a culinary mix of basil, so I think we're good on basil. Next on my list is cilantro. I usually use this slow bolt cilantro, plant it super early, and then leave it super late. Actually, I don't usually plant it too early, but it's nice to have for fresh salsa. Otherwise, I'll make pesto out of it. And it looks like I've got some other cilantro here, so that'll be good. Dill. Ooh, this is one I don't want to run out of. Now, I have a decent amount of dill heads in my freezer I can use for pickles, but I always need more. I have a ton of dill seed, just so much dill seed, it's outrageous. And I have a little bit of dill weed. So I know I want more dill weed next year, and I know I need more dill for making pickles. So I have one pack here. This is quite a bit. This is Survival Garden Seeds. So I'm going to say I have enough dill. Oregano, I checked. Parsley. Almost forgot parsley. All right. Got plenty here, and I've got a few other varieties. Triple curled is what I've been planting. We've got flat leaf and giant of Italy. So what I'll do in that case is if something worked well, I'll probably plant it again. But being I have other options, I'll probably plant a little bit of those too. You never know. You might find something that works even better. Rosemary, did I add that to my list? Yeah. Sage I added. Thyme I added. All right, I think we're good. I have some of my other medicinals in here. Well, I have fennel in here too. And I do have a pot, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to write it down just so I don't forget to plant it. But I have chamomile and calendula. And I have some saved from 2 years ago, and then last year I used a little bit medicinally, but I really didn't save much of it. I kind of let it flower and be there for the bees, and that was it. So I'm not going to go out of my way probably to make sure I plant it. As far as beans go, I really didn't get any saved last year, which stinks because the whole last round I planted was seed saved from the year before, but none of it got to a seed saving stage, which is just really a bummer. I know if I wouldn't have harvested so many green beans last year, I could have gotten some to that stage, but it just is what it is. I planted a lot of beans last year, and I can't actually find a note of how many I planted, but I'll keep looking because it might be in an old video, but I know I wanted a lot of beans. So anyways, what I've got is, without any saved, I'm talking about like green beans, I've got a jade bush bean, probably a decent sized pack. And then from Survival Garden Seeds, I've got Provider bush beans, which is one I plant usually. And then a Royal Burgundy. Last year I planted, I don't know if this was the same variety, but I planted a purple variety, and I really liked it because it was easy to spot and pick, and my kids could pick it really easily. However, it didn't produce as well. Now I know I have the Provider here, but I also really like Contender bush beans, so I know I need more. Provider and Contender are the ones I'm planting mostly, and both of those seem to do similarly well, so I like having two varieties just in case if something happens to one of them, I've kind of got that backup. Now I've had these kidney beans in here forever. It isn't typical where I'm from that the home gardener is planting other types of beans, so I've got these in here because I would love to experiment and try some things one day. And then as far as, I don't know if these are considered beans, well, soybeans, I don't know if I'll grow those or not. But we got black-eyed peas, which I've never grown. These have, from what I understand, a much longer growing season than typically what we'd get here. So these are a variety of cowpea. And it doesn't say how long they take, so I'll have to look more up about that. But it would be fun to grow some of those if time and space allow. Right, next up on my list are kind of those really early spring things. So I don't usually plant peas just because we don't usually eat a ton, but I did get some pea seeds from Survival Garden Seeds, so I think I will plant some this year. Everybody enjoys them, but it tends to be like that one time we have them, and then after that the thrill's gone and nobody eats them. So that's why I haven't planted them. The kids did plant some last year by their greenhouse, and that by their fort, and that was kind of fun for them. I usually plant early scarlet globe radish. I do really like these French breakfast radish, and then I've been planting these Easter egg radish as well. I do have some other radish in here, Champion and Cherry Bell, so definitely we have plenty of radish, and we can plant those early as well as in the fall. Turnips are something, I really enjoy turnip greens, not necessarily turnips. Oh, there's also a watermelon radish in here, that'll be fun. I really enjoy turnip greens, not necessarily turnips. So, oh, look at all this radish seed I've got saved in here. We should be good on radishes. Yeah, so there's Purple Top and Snowball. Those will be fun to do. I don't know if I planted much for turnips last year just because I didn't have the seed, like I forgot about it. I did try rutabaga a couple of years ago, and this was just kind of like kohlrabi, really difficult to cut through, really difficult for cooking and things like that. Even though I wanted it to work, I wanted to like it, it was difficult. So maybe we'll do more of that, but it's more of if I need to throw something in, it would probably be something great. I should look into it for storage for the pigs. It's been really nice having all those squash from a friend for our pigs this winter. So that's something too that we're considering more. How can we plant more for them? There's also some beets in here. My kids like canned beets. I don't really care for them, but it would be fun to make. I know you can make different like beet ketchup and things that maybe would be a hit. So we've got them if we want to plant them. All right, next up on my list is melons and cantaloupes. So fruit. All right, so we did get some seeds from Rich and Holly over at Old Sweets Farm. These are Georgia rattlesnake seeds, and we didn't have luck with these last year, but hey, it's a new year, so you never know. We also have, let's see, oh, that's those. This was this muskmelon we had a few years ago that we just love, so I saved the seeds. I usually do the Minnesota Midget cantaloupe. Now, I haven't had a ton of luck with cantaloupe and melons and things in a long time. They're just not our greatest. I do have rhubarb seeds and apple seeds and things in here that, yeah, everything's in there. But let's see, we also have Heart of Gold melon to try. Some Honey Rock melon, Moon and Stars watermelon, which I believe I remember seeing that listed as a good variety for where we are, and then a Crimson Sweet. So I think we're pretty good. It will all depend on timing on those, so I'll double check that. But I'm just gonna rate that we are good on melons. Next up is carrots. Now our carrots we've been planting in the greenhouse, and that has been working really well. Some dirt in there. All right. So we've got plenty of Danvers, Scarlet Nantes, Atomic Red, this Rainbow, which is fun, but not really as productive. I've got lots of carrots. And then we've got some more from Survival Garden Seeds, some Imperator, Little Fingers, which I believe we planted before, and they were just too small for the time and energy put into carrots. More Danvers. So we should be good at least for a round on carrots. Now what we've been doing is planting 2 rounds in the greenhouse for the year, and I will show a clip here if I can find it back to when, or a picture back to the last harvest of carrots. It was so great. I know I have, here's some corn and things that I haven't planted that I probably never will. This is decorative corn. I got quinoa and broom corn. And then I got sweet corn in here, which is kind of exciting. And popcorn. So we just might have to plant those this year. Next up is cucumbers. I think I have more than enough. Oh, here's where those peas from last year were that the kids planted. They also tried cucamelons. You guys, did any of your cucamelons, were you able to eat them?
No.
I didn't think so. Yeah, we didn't have any luck with them. So better luck maybe this year. I think it was more of tending to our garden was the issue. These look like some really old cucumbers I have. Armenian yard long. Those actually made some decent pickles this year. I do have some saved Parisian cucumbers, which are my favorite. And that's what these are too. Yeah, I probably have quite a few of those. Those are definitely my favorite. Plenty of cucumbers. I am not going to stress. More saved cucumbers, a whole nother pack. And then I did get some varieties from Survival Garden Seeds, National Pickling and Bite Alpha. I don't think I've tried either of these. I'm sure the pickling ones will be good, so I probably will try those. But those Parisian ones are my favorite. So we'll plant lots of those this year. Actually, we'll see if we do. Matt was talking about maybe this year not doing cucumbers, which would be hard. I really like having those fermented pickles in the fridge. I think we're down to 2.5 gallons left, and then we'll break into our canned pickles after that. All right, next up is pumpkins and squash, zucchini, things like that. So usually I plant Black Beauty zucchini, which I have from Survival Garden Seeds, but it looks like I must have grabbed these from the store when I realized I didn't have enough zucchini seeds. So this is just says dark green zucchini summer squash, but pretty similar. And then there's also this gray zucchini, which might be kind of fun. Now, last year I planted my zucchini intending that just plant as much as I could on the outside of the greenhouse, and whatever grew, we'd feed the pigs with. And basically we got a handful of zucchinis, and they were hard as rocks because I wasn't on top of watering, and it was a poor zucchini year for us. And some are like that. I still have zucchini from the year before in our freezer, a little bit left. So, you know, those are kind of the things. It's nice to have that carryover. Same with our pumpkins. They didn't do well last year. We got a couple little pie-sized pumpkins, I think, and that was about it. So I had these Mousse de Provence squash, which are basically just pretty fun pumpkins. And Long Island cheese pumpkin. So I tried both of these last year. I still have some seeds, so I'll try them again. They do have a small sugar pumpkin in my survival garden seeds, so I'm excited because I used up all my pie pumpkin seeds. A jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. And I've got some fun ones here. This is, it says Casper. White scallop summer squash, which that might be great for the pigs based on how they like those gourds. There was some spaghetti squash, which we planted a few years ago and we really liked it, but we had, I think, like 4 or 5 plants and it was just way too much. So it's nice when you have such a variety, you can plant 1 or 2 plants of this and just have that. Well, there were some cucumbers I missed here, the lemon cucumber. I've actually planted that before. Although cute, it wasn't anything too special for me. All right, and then we've got butternut squash. Same thing with the spaghetti squash. It'd be nice to do like one of those gourd dippers. That's kind of fun. I don't know if we'll have room for that. Again, these are the things that it's fun for the kids to do too. So some cornucopia gourd mix. I've had this for years. So maybe I'll find somewhere to plant it. And I'll just write squash on here. Are good as well. Now I've got some flowers over here, which is awesome. I should probably really take a look at my flowers. I have some marigold save seeds, some zinnia save seeds, and those are the big ones. Also have, these are just wildflower seeds, wildflowers, coneflowers, more marigolds, amaranth. Also I have in here, is this lavender? Hyssop. Some hyssop. So I got more wildflowers, some daisies, some sunflowers, and then a bee mix, all from Survival Garden Seeds. So sunflowers are something I enjoy planting in the back of our garden. So I'm just gonna check that I have a decent amount of saved seed from last year, since sunflower seeds are just so easy to harvest and save seeds. So I've got mammoth, so these are actually 2 years old. And then it looks like some smaller sunflower seeds. And that looks like it. So not really as many as I thought it would. Oh, here's smaller. Those are all small sunflower seeds. So quite a bit. Not a lot of mammoth, but I really don't need a ton of those. I'm at the end here, so I have some notes and little things I enjoyed planting and things that are gonna go back in there. And then what I've got left is some red Malabar spinach. I don't think I've planted that before. Some saved native mullein seed that I need to double check my rules and regulations that I can spread that, but I really liked having so much mullein this year. We used it for salve and we had a sick winter so far. Hopefully it doesn't continue like that, but it was really nice having that for the kids when they went to bed. And then these are kind of the random ones from Survival Garden Seed that I'm not used to planting. So there were 2 eggplant varieties, and I had a kiddo who had what appeared to be an allergic reaction once to eggplant, and I've never even tried to cook it again. So I don't know if I'll grow these. Maybe it'll be fun to try, but that just has kept me away from eggplant. Same with okra. I have really not grown it, so I don't really have any experience with that. And Brussels sprouts, I also have not tried it. So these are kind of the random ones that if I have time and space, I'll try. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm going to be needing for the year. So I've planned it out as far as seeds go. I need to order a lot of onion seeds. I need to order some King of the North bell pepper seeds. And check if my rosemary and sage and thyme, if what I have in pots is enough. And I'm gonna order more beans, probably Provider and Contender, and that's it. So it's been really nice having the Survival Garden Seeds at hand because, I mean, the big things, onions, peppers, beans, are what I need. And I love that they have the extra sets, so I can just go ahead and search beans and look at all their bush bean varieties and order a couple together, or I can pick out some of those ones I love. I Hope you enjoyed this video and glad you got to see me again. Happy gardening. Bye.